This is going to be a very down and dirty video on some considerations for fighting from your vehicle. This is not all encompassing. This is just me putting out some things that you probably haven't thought about that I believe you should think about. So, first and foremost, medical. If you don't have medical in your vehicle, you are an asshole. Car accidents kill people all the time. And if you're just worried about gun stuff and you bleed to death because you didn't learn any medical or buy any medical gear, you are bleeding to death like a dumb fuck. So it'd be really bad to have the best bill drill anyone's ever seen and suck ass at putting on tourniquets and then bleed to death because of that. Or just simply not having this stuff. So within arm's reach, you should have medical. All right. This is my medical bag that goes with me everywhere. I've also got this bag that has more medical. We'll talk about that later. But also, like those CD visors are still useful. Buy one, put it up there, shove some tourniquets in there, get some shock cord maybe, and wrap it around. Tape a fucking tourniquet to it. I don't care. Masking tape. That will break off and not be in the way, and that will work. But have medical. Also consider the glove box, center console, and the little door pockets. Put medical in your vehicle. Next consideration. You've probably seen the videos from the ShivWorks classes with Craig Douglas where they're wrestling inside a vehicle, and you should train with them. I haven't gotten the opportunity to yet, but my friends have. They really liked it. But some considerations for that, when you see that, generally you see like a dude wrestling or two dudes wrestling and there's guns involved. Um, a blade may be a good option. Also, think about like your wife. If she doesn't normally carry a gun, you could still probably convince her that having a blade in her vehicle would be a good idea. Okay. So, something that I do for myself is I got this knife down between my legs, and this is just a knife from Home Depot, and I think it's used for cutting duct work, and it's big and super sharp, and I don't use it for anything. Um, I think it was like 20 bucks. Okay. So I have that positioned between my legs at the bottom of the seat where it's not somewhere where people could really see it, but I know where it is. So if I were wrestling and say my right hand was busy, I could get to that. Also, if you're a right-hand shooter and you're driving a car and that dude gets in right here and then you have to draw your gun, well, drawing your gun with a dude right here and trying to get shots is not going to be easy. So this is where we start getting into the concept of being ambidextrous with a gun. So you could get your gun out, but then trying to shoot the guy just gives them a lot of access to your gun. So at least being competent of shooting with your left hand uh, is important. Now, we could go down the rabbit hole on that, but I just, again, want to expose you to the idea, give you things to think about right now with this video. Something I personally do is my backup gun is a revolver and it's in my left front pocket. There's a whole bunch of reasons why I think that is awesome to have a left-handed draw gun and a right-handed draw gun. But right here, this would be one of the reasons. So if I am, it's kind of it's like it's not as easy a draw as it is from appendix, of course. So I still have to do motions to get my hand on the gun. But when I do, say like this hand was keeping them on that side and maybe that leg, but I have a gun I can draw with my left hand. Okay. So another thing to consider. Now, when we talk about fighting people outside the vehicle, okay, that's where being ambidextrous and being able to switch hands and some other weird stuff really come into play. Now, I'm not gonna shoot out my windshield or shoot out this piece of glass for the video because I have to drive this home and I love my 4Runner. It's a third gen, best gen. I wouldn't do that to her, but I would risk doing that. So I've got all The window's open except for the sunroof because that fucks up the lighting for the video. But be aware that if you're trying this stuff out in your car, the concussion may break the windows still. Also, I will say flash hiders are better because it directs the blast outward and it's not going to be inside the car. Okay, so just be aware if you try this, you might still crack your windows. All right. Now, you've seen John Wick. I know you have because you're watching this channel and you like awesome movies. One thing that everyone talks shit on is the technique used in John Wick, the car method, and that's closed access relock, I believe. Now, the way that some people who like that method want to apply it, I disagree with. But in a car, I like the car method, right? And here's why. So it's a space thing. So imagine that there was glass on these windows, okay, as in the windows were up and I had to shoot out of them, okay. So if me as a right-handed dude, if I'm trying to shoot out this window next to me, which if I had other people and we all had to shoot our guns, this would be my priority, right? If I had to shoot out this window and I wanted to extend my arms out, I basically have to get into the next seat. Like if I sit on the center console, now I can do it, but I'm like really in a weird position. And I basically have to get in the next seat to get my normal position. Because right here, my muzzle is out of the window. Okay. So that's where just simply using this hand as a stopper and pushing against that hand, I am able to actually get shots where I need them to be. Now, if the window is open, of course I could extend the gun out the window. Now, this is where some people are going to be like, you never shoot from your car, you get out of your car. Okay, I would love to get out of the car and not sit in a car with people shooting at the car, okay? That makes a lot of sense. I'm saying when you have to. How do we go about that? What are the things we have to consider? So if you're freaking out about that, shut the fuck up. And also you can think about, too, the same people who will talk shit on that, talk shit on James Yeager for getting out of the car. It's like, what do you want him to do? You want him to sit in there? Okay. So, anyways, moving on. Now, for this window, going like that as a right-handed dude, okay? Now, let's think about if we're a left-handed dude. How do I get shots out this window? Do I get in the other seat? Do I sit on the dashboard? Or do I get good at using my other hand so I can actually do it? So if you're a driver, you're left-handed, you've never thought about having to shoot out this window, there's something to consider. Maybe you should become ambidextrous with a gun so you actually can. Now, for a left-handed dude out the passenger window, right? So I got the gun in my left hand. That ain't that bad, okay? You can accomplish that pretty easily. For a right-handed dude, you can accomplish it decently. But here's the thing. I'm going to rotate this. I can go from here to about here, and then I got to start bringing the gun in, okay? So even here, it might make sense for me as a right-handed dude to put in my other hand to be able to shoot out this window, okay? And then still using that stopper and pushing forward, similar to what that closed access relock does, okay? Now, what I could also do as a right-handed shooter is I could just go one-handed, okay? So I could go one-handed, and I am able to get that gun positioned anywhere I want. It's when I put my other hand on the gun, it starts getting a little bit more locked up, a little bit weirder, and I have to collapse in my arm to be able to achieve it, because this arm is fully extended, right? And so in order to keep in line with my eye, I actually have to close this in. But if I'm just one-handed, I can rotate the gun as far as I want, and it's not out of the window, okay? So in order to do that, you have to actually be good at one-handed shooting. Pistol cheat codes with me, we focus on day 2 a lot on one-handed shooting because it allows you to do a lot more stuff, specifically shooting on the move. But we're not really talking about that in this video. We're just talking about working inside the vehicle. But it's like, in order to actually do this, you need to be good at shooting one-handed. Most people do not focus on that. I also say you need to be good at shooting one-handed with both hands. Okay. Now, again, not gonna go too deep. I'm just trying to give you guys things to think about. But now, thinking about, we got this other window back here. Okay. So again, if I'm trying to do that right-handed with two hands on the gun, I am really having to collapse in a lot. So there, I could switch hands and I could compress it, stopper, push forward, and I could get shots like that. Or again, I could go one-handed. And then we could go all the way to the back window, okay? Now thinking about it right here, I can only get about that far. To get shots over there, I have to do something else. I either have to get on this other side, or again, I could switch hands and then switch eyes. So I'm using my left eye, and I can actually rotate all the way to the window over here, okay? So this would be a good thing for you to like dry practice in your car and just see how far you can actually go. And you'd want to do it from like literally all the different seats to get familiarized with it. But it's like not necessarily a thing that like I'm gonna say like you have to go fucking take this class right now or else you're gonna die. It's like you should get familiar with it. And you can do a lot of this live fire at the range by just simply having a chair and just like make a list of the positions you want to shoot, like two-handed compressed, gun in left hand, right side, and you could draw pictures of your car or something like that. And then you could actually try it live fire without having to, you know, go to a range, bring a vehicle, shoot, possibly break windows, stuff like that. But some things to consider. So basically, I could, as a right-handed shooter, going to the right side, I could switch hands and press against a stopping hand, and then I can switch eyes. I can get all the way over there, and I could even go further back that way if I wanted without even lifting my ass out of the seat. I could also go one-handed, and it's really good here, here, here to here, and then if I need to shoot back that way, I need to get my ass out of the seat. I actually need to lift up to be able to accomplish that. Now, for the other side, we have this window, which we talked about. We could go compress just like that. And then out this back window, we could do the same thing, okay? And then further back, yeah. But that's like this little window right here. That's just the shittiest spot to try to shoot at. It just is, okay? And honestly, I would say at that point, probably getting in another seat to shoot there is going to make more sense. Now, I'll do some live fire, just kind of demonstrating. I don't have even target set up, but you can just watch the gun. And like I said, you could do this live fire on your own. But this just demonstrating that you can shoot like this. It's nothing to be scared of. So maybe something you try at the range. Don't do it in front of people or else they'll freak out. But with that compressed position, so like right here, not a big deal. It's like, yeah, the slide's reciprocating. Lots of times people are afraid of it hitting them in the face. Same thing if I rotate back a little bit further, just like that. Now, if I need to take shots this way, this is where like actually really developing your grip for one-handed shooting matters a lot. But like, so I would prefer just to go one-handed, but now we can look at it. And it's like, as long as you have a decent recovery and you understand how to grip it correctly, it's not going to be that hard. Now, another consideration while we're on this is you can put pistol mags pretty much anywhere. Okay, so Here got a 33 round mag. Now this might be trash. I don't know. It's a KCI. I actually got these for testing, but thinking about if you, there we go. If you did have to shoot your way out of your car, having that, as I call it, extendo may be a good thing to have. Okay. But now let's think about shooting out the back. Also, I will say putting these on totally changes the way that gun feels. Like, it's twice as much ammo, so it moves differently, and the recoil impulse, its recovery back on target, is weird when you throw one of these on. But okay, so now I could shoot out this way just like this. And then if I had to go back, I could go one-handed. And then if I had to go back the other way, then I could switch hands. I can compress in. Here I got my right eye. And I'm being more careful right now because honestly, that's not a position I practice a lot. So I'm going to have to do that more live fire to get better at it. And as far as like, does a compressed position or one-handed work better? I mean, honestly, I do way more one-handed than a compressed position. So that's what I prefer. Okay. Now, let's talk about next a rifle, working a rifle in the vehicle. Now, this is super hot, so I ain't going to put that back on my body. I'm just going to leave it up there on the dash. But, oh, one more thing I want to talk about. Some people carry their gun on their hip. It's 2025, so carried appendix. It's a lot better. The first wave holsters are what I recommend. I'll put a link in the description for that. But like having to get your seatbelt off and trying to draw your gun like that is a pain in the ass. Having the gun appendix, much easier. Also, you should have a gun, an appendix in a holster where when you do draw it, you don't have to get the gun out, because that is crazy obnoxious. Here, probably got another gun in here that is not nearly as hot. I could throw back in my holster. There we go. All right, so your holster, if you can draw your gun without having to sit up and move your hips and all that, but if you could do it in such a way where you're not telegraphing that you are drawing a gun, that's what I like. Okay, so think about it too. You might be like waiting for your wife to get out of the gas station, right? She had to use the bathroom. You're with the kids in the car. There's some scrote bags coming up. Well, you should be able to draw your gun without telegraphing what you're doing. So notice how I didn't do any of these to get my gun out. I've got a gun in my hand, and this is where people are like, oh, covert ready is bullshit. No one does that. Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, dude, fucking cops do covert ready. That's why cops don't want you having your hands in your pockets. Fucking criminals do covert ready. And then dumbasses think it's not a thing. Okay. Having a gun in your hand when you see something happening is faster than just drawing your gun fast. Okay. Because it's in your hand. You were skipping parts of the draw stroke. You were cheating the draw stroke. Anyways. And now this video is becoming a rant, of course, but I did say, I was just trying to give you guys some things to think about. So anyways, carry gun appendix, first wave holsters, the Trem appendix, or the, this guy right here, the Trem Pen Lux. And even we're talking about doing a signature holster for me, but that little bump, that bucket top, you should be able to draw your gun and reholster your gun without doing that or anything crazy. You should be able to do it without showing people what you're doing. Now let's talk about working the rifle. Okay, so, all right, for everyone who's like, oh, it's bullshit that you have to, that you should be good at switching hands with a rifle. Okay, well, first thing I'll say is wherever you keep the rifle, if you can shoot the hand left-handed or right-handed, it will be easier for you to deploy your rifle. Now, I'm talking in the context of it's in a spot where you can actually grab the rifle, okay? So, like, Here I've got it just behind the passenger seat, and I don't normally carry it here. I normally have it in some sort of better spot or whatever. This is just literally for the video. I've got an extremely easy spot to actually grab it. Okay. So for me, if I am just a right-handed shooter and that's how I have to run my rifle, first off, like think about just getting that rifle into your hands. What is that going to look like? So if I had to get the rifle out and then put it in my right hand to shoot it, because I suck at shooting because I only have practice with my dominant hand, what does that look like when you actually deploy your rifle? Okay, so that will look like more steps to getting it into your right hand. So for me, if I would start off on the pistol grip, now I've got to work these weird angles, right? Or I don't start off on the pistol grip with my right hand. I put it in this hand, get it up and out, and then I switch hands. Well, that's added steps. Whereas I already had it in my fucking left hand. So if I could just shoot it left-handed, grab the stock with my right hand, put the pistol grip in my left hand, and now I can start shooting it, okay? Here's another thing. Sorry about that. Phone overheated because literally the sun is beating down on it right now. So I'm going to try and make this quick so we can get the rest in one take. Anyways, the thing I was about to say is that shooting a rifle, you don't actually need to shoulder the stock. If you're trying to do that inside a vehicle, it's going to make it harder, okay? So if you think about it, to hit the target, all you need to do is keep the gun aimed at the target while you press the trigger. So for me to see where it's aimed, I just need my eye lined up with the optic. That does not have anything to do with my shoulder. Now you could collapse the stock in all the way too. That can give you a little bit more space to work. But if you think about it like this, like if I'm going out this side here, I can have my face against the stock anywhere up to the optic, and I can collapse down the sides of the rifle. So we got a 16-inch gun right here. And doing that is going to allow me to get lined up, get my eye lined up with the sights easier in super confined spaces. Now, there are other things for shooting a rifle while floating the stock, or as it was originally called from Gary Marr of Tremendous Dynamics, decoupling. There's a lot of things where it's actually beneficial, but it's not an all the time thing. So of course, if you were static, you know, in a good position, I would want to use the stock. But if we're trying to acquire targets quickly in a confined space, especially, then we don't necessarily need to float the stock. And also, of course, you need to do this like live fire. Don't just expect yourself to jump in the fight and be good at it. But you would be surprised at how effective it can be, especially outside the vehicle. So stuff like shooting on the move, coming to a hard stop, getting your first rounds on target transition, shit like that. My students have been really surprised as to how effective it is to just simply put your face against the stock and not actually shoulder it. Also make you faster at switching hands. But come to rifle cheat codes to to actually see the full picture. Don't just think that you got the full picture from that little talk. So anyways, so for me to acquire targets, and again, we're saying we just got the gun out and it would be in my left hand from the position I got it in. If I'm trying to shoulder it and I've got enough distance where I can do that on this side, I can do that on this side, and then back to here. Now I'm gonna have to get my ass totally out of the seat to be able to do that, okay? So that's where simply putting my eye in line with the optic, I can rotate further back that way, and able to acquire target. So of course, as a driver, everything on the right side will be easier done with the gun in your left hand, okay? And then when we go to the left side, well, then we have to put the muzzle on the other side, and so it'll be easier to do with the right hand. And this is also where I like having an optic mounted all the way forward on the receiver, not on the rail. Although, I mean, it's certainly with like a monolithic upper, it wouldn't really be an issue. So if the rail was a part of the receiver, and certainly you could justify doing really weird shit with your gun just for fighting inside a vehicle. But this is where I like it. Okay. And it allows me to get my face all the way up to here if I needed to. Also, I like to acknowledge I'm not like the only dude doing this. There's one other guy does a bunch of stuff with the Shockwave. I forget his name. I'm so sorry. He seems like a really cool dude in all his videos. And then I think there's another dude doing some stuff like this. But I got it from Gary Marv, Travis Dynamics, and I'm just applying it to the vehicle. Anyways, now, so 16-inch gun, I'm pretty much going to have to get on the center console or in the next seat to shoot out the driver's side window, okay? It's just like, it's hard to condense that space down. I mean, right here I can do it, and I can just like short stock and throw it up here, and I can see, I could even look over the gun if the target is close enough, if the bad guy is close enough. That is one major sin of the entire gun community, but especially the training industry, is we always shoot under ideal conditions. So it's like we're static, we're holding the gun super still, then they tell you shit like let the shot surprise you, and just take your time. Really, it's like that's not how it is in actual gunfights and actual violence. Shit's moving fast, and the level of aiming confirmation you really get a lot of times is not that good. And guys just don't see that unless they've been in real gunfights or they do lots of force on force. So something to think about too, aiming confirmation as far as like what do we need to really see sight-wise to be able to hit the target. Well, usually there's 3 levels described, but that comes from like practical shooting and competition shooting. When I describe it, generally it's more like 11, and it goes from super good to shit to super good again. And it depends on the distance and the movement of the target and how well you can see the sights and other stuff. But think, for the basic part, if there's a dude fucking saying right outside my window, I don't need to see my optic. I don't need to put the dot on him. I can point the gun if he is close enough and make good hits. Again, something you should do, like static on paper, before you start working in a vehicle. I will also say all this shit would be really fun for you to practice in your yard with airsoft guns, and you could get really good at it. Like at least being more mobile. There will be shit you don't realize you're fucking up. That is important, and that's why you should take training classes so you can have the eyes of a competent instructor. But you could get pretty fucking far ahead just doing this with airsoft guns in your car, in your yard or your garage, or even just working with a blue gun or a properly unloaded gun. But anyways, now, so working it on the left side, you're going to want to be right-handed. Definitely going to have to collapse it down, and you're not going to have it shouldered just because there's not space. Now, if the window's open, of course you can jam the gun out the window and do everything nicely the way you would like to. Of course, out the left side, or sorry, the right side, I can actually shoulder my rifle just fine. I can even do it to right here. It's just the rotation part. That's going to be a lot harder. But now you guys are probably like, I don't believe you. This is witchcraft. No, it's not. I'm a Christian. But like the thing is going to hurt you so bad if you don't have it in your shoulder, and you're not going to be able to manage the recoil. Well, okay. What I do is I basically push forward with this hand, and this back hand is a stopper. Kind of similar to the other thing I showed you with the pistol. And it's not going to be as fast of a recovery back onto target. But when I do it, I can track the sight super well, and I can drive it back onto target super well. So I haven't had it be an issue ever. It's just like if I'm shooting static at a static target, then yeah, I'm like, I need to use the stock to get the maximum, most effective use of this rifle. But if we're talking about right now, like acquiring a target, as in like dude's moving around, maybe popping out from cover, and you have to get your sights on him and take that shot. Again, we don't want to sit in the vehicle forever, but I'll do some shots with it where I am floating the stock. I'm just gonna push forward this hand. This backhand is a stopper, and I'm kind of jamming it against my face when I do it. But to get good at that, literally just shoot doubles and adjust your technique and the grip and the pressures you're applying to the gun until you get the best results possible, and then just apply it in other places. But here we go. So first off, I'll do out the right side, left-handed. So again, I am just going to push forward with this hand. I'll move that right there. Pushing forward with this hand. This hand is a stopper, and I'm jamming it against my face super hard. So like this. Okay. And now out the back window. Okay. And now if I had to go to this other side, and switching hands inside a vehicle is super fucking weird. That I think is something I need to practice because I'm feeling awkward about it right now. But if you're gonna do all this shit, you have to be good at that too. All right. So now I'm still leaned over, and here, let me just get it so you can see me better. I'm still leaned over, and I'm basically got the charging handle against my face right now, and now I'll shoot. It is doable. It just really sucks with this size gun. So certainly every inch you take off that gun will make it nicer. Okay. But this is where we start considering like, hey, what's another gun we could use besides just a full size rifle or a carbine and a pistol. So we will now talk about another concept. So for truck guns, generally what it's talked about is like having a dedicated rifle for a vehicle. Sometimes they make it smaller. They set it up to be more streamlined, stuff like that. One thing I will say is the truck gun sling is the way to go. So it's a sling that is tight to the rifle until you need it, and then you just loosen it and you actually have a sling. Also, I will say fighting inside a vehicle is definitely a time where wearing a sling is retarded behavior and you should avoid it. By avoid it, I mean just don't do it. But anyways, when we talk about truck guns, generally that's what they're talking about. It's like a full-size rifle. Now, I said I would talk about this bag later. So what I have in this bag is like flashlight, multi-tool, emergency ZINs, shiesty, duct tape. In here, a bunch of Glock mags and some cordage. At the top, I have back here are gloves and then tourniquets, and then the front is gloves and then seals. And then I can open this up all the way. I've got a whole bunch of medical, and no, you cannot buy this bag. At least not the time I'm putting out this video, because this is the only one that exists. And I'm pretty sure I'm only going to sell it to my actual students. But it's a super cool bag. Like, it really sucks you don't have it. Now, getting into the next thing is with a bag like this, of course I got medical. That was the important part. I could sustain a pistol or a rifle very well off of a bag like this. But also I can fit another gun in this bag. So if you think about it, like most truck guns get left in the truck, right? And talking about like, oh, I got my, AR-15 or whatever. It's like a lot of times, man, those guns just get so big that it's not really good to put in a backpack and carry around. This size I like. And the reason why, because this is a 9mm, the reason why I went with this, I liked it, was like for the floating the stock, the way it cycles, it recovers on target very well because it's very snappy. At first I thought it was lighter recoiling, and then I realized no, it just works really well with that technique. But also, big part of this is I can carry a ton of bullets in very small space when it is a 9 mil. And also, because it runs Glock mags, that works with my pistol, which works with my wife's pistol. Also, it's lighter weight, which means my 11-year-old daughter is going to be more mobile if she had to use the gun. So that's another consideration. Of course, ballistics are better with carbine rounds and rifle rounds. It's always better than pistol rounds. But if I want my kid to be able to use it effectively, she needs to be able to bring it on target, and she needs to be able to move with it and get into certain positions with it to be able to actually fight with it. And that's where I actually really, really like this gun. So here, and I actually got a jungle mag going on, and it fits in the bag like that. But I got the Pig 9 from Iron Pig Armament, and then I can open it up like that. I keep it with the stock collapsed because, again, when I shoot this gun, I pretty much always just float the stock. Now, if I am fully getting out of the vehicle and all the way deploying and all that, I would go ahead and open the stock up. But one consideration I have for this is being able to shoot it from my vehicle, and it'll be easier with the stock collapsed. Now, the reason why I like the bag gun is because that bag can go with me inside Walmart. It can go with me inside the grocery store, or when you go out to dinner or whatever. If you have a kid with you, or especially a young kid like a toddler or a baby, you always have an excuse to wear a backpack. So that's where backpack guns are more of a thing. Something else, everyone knows what Vertex bags look like, and I mean, this is an OD green bag. Like, I built that because I think it's fucking cool, and I just wanted that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to put this bag in the same material because it frayed easily. But anyways, lots of the, like, EDC bags and the, gray man bags, they're very clearly not fucking gray man. So it's like, that's another consideration. If the bag gets too crazy big, like, you're not fooling anyone. But with this setup, I can pull it off. Now, cool thing here, and these are Magpul 27s. I am testing them, but 227 round mags. So I could literally just dump the first one and then reload the second one and continue fighting. But this gives that all the same stuff that I applied before with the rifle, but in a smaller package. Something else you could consider is those, like, rare breed triggers. You don't get the ballistics, but, like, if it's very controllable on full semi-auto.
Those are single shots. If I wanted to fire this on full semi-automatic, all I do is keep firing.
Or whatever you want to call it, like with a rare breed force reset trigger, that might be the way to go. But that's where I like this, is it's very easy to maneuver it around. I can even get it in more spaces. Like here, I can actually bring it all the way back right-handed and aim it all the way to this middle pillar by just simply jamming against the headrest, and I could get shots off like that too. So I actually get more mobility out of this. I can work it from more angles inside my vehicle. Of course, if I did need to shoot out this back or this rear passenger side window, I'm going to have to switch hands for that. Okay, switching hands inside the vehicle is also going to be much easier because I don't have the full 16 inches to worry about. So it's not going to be as awkward as it is with the longer gun. Going out this side, very easy. Back here, pretty easy too. And now I know you're like, well, let me see you shoot that gun. Okay, fine, I will. Jesus. Very expensive. I'm just shooting dirt. Like, with people will talk shit on that too. He didn't mark your hits. Yeah, I know. All right, let me get these on. hate it when you put on Ear Pro. You can't actually hear it. So, all right. So, I now have more space to work with. Okay. Cause I have like I think an 8-inch barrel on this gun. So I don't have to like lean back into the next seat. I could just look over the gun and shoot dudes who are close by. But if I needed to actually aim it, I don't have to get into the next seat to accomplish that. I can actually stay with my ass in my seat right here, and I can get it done. Now, if I need to go out this window, I can do that too. And again, I'm just floating the stock. Getting hot brass on me. Do not melt my cool shirt. And yeah, it's not as good as if I shoulder it, but it's like, try working these positions and you could put up targets or, have a dummy gun and have a buddy move around your car and you just try to get it aimed at him, and just see, how well you're actually able to get on target when you shoulder it versus when you don't. All right. Now, going out of the right side and all the way back, let's look at that. So here I got the right side. I'm gonna do it first where I keep it in my right hand. Now, it does make me lift my left ass cheek a little bit, and I'm not gonna shoot that way because I have no berm there, but all the way here I'm good, and then to here I'm good. Now, here's one consideration, is if you end up rotating the gun, it's very easy to shoot a part of your car like that. So you have height over bore to consider, and with this optic, the Unity style fast mounts, fucking you have more height over bore. So you gotta be really careful with it. But I can get it all the way to here, and I can do it right here because I ain't gonna hit nothing right here. And I don't have it in my shoulder, okay? It's like, I can't really show you because I have to change the camera angle, but I'm kind of pressing against the seat with the magazine, and then I'm pushing forward with this hand, and I'm able to get that done. Now, going back more, if I want to do out that window, I have to switch hands to make it happen. Okay, so first I'll do a switch hands, and now I can actually work more back, not necessarily straight this way, but I can change the angle to get more that way too. And I'm floating the stock again. Okay, and now, let's see where the camera's pointed. Yep. Now if I wanted to go out this window, and again, think about too, I could just jam my mag against there, and I don't even have to have my face against the stock. I could just see where the gun is aimed, and I could take shots just like that. Now, going out the back window, again, if I were to, as a right-handed shooter, keep in my right hand, that's just not fucking happening. So I'm going to have to be left-handed on the gun to accomplish that. But look at that. Oh, ran out. Good thing I've got my jungle mag. And I can make it happen. All right. Anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. It's very ranty, not very professional. I had a lot of thoughts, and I've been wanting to make it for a while, so I appreciate you watching, especially you guys who made it to the end. And again, this is just talking about if we had to shoot from inside our vehicle, what is that really going to look like? Okay. And I just wanted you guys to think about some stuff and maybe give you some things to try out. Again, this is not a replacement for training. Go take a vehicle class. They're going to disagree with a bunch of shit I said. That's fine. Be a good student. Don't just be cause you like my channel or someone else's channel, just adopt everything they say. Find truth. Find the dudes you think have the best information, and even train with dudes who disagree with them. So if you like shit I say, go find people who totally disagree with what I say. they will still have good information. That's what I do when I take classes. I literally like training with people I disagree with because then I get to see what they're about. Okay. Anyways, not a replacement for training. Make sure you actually take classes. For the shooting stuff in this video that I talked about and the weird techniques and stuff, if you take pistol cheat codes or you take rifle cheat codes, all this stuff that I just talked about will come a lot easier when it comes to actual live fire. As for actual vehicle classes, I know Tactical Response and Tremis Dynamics both have good vehicle classes. So you could check those out and take one of those. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Keep fighting communism. Kill all pedophiles. If you like that shirt, go to my website. And remember that training, not just YouTube videos, training, not just shooting at the range, taking a class, training saves lives.